I have connected with my headphone. If please anyone can respond.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yeah, now it's fine. So good morning. Now I am sharing the screen. Please let me know. Everyone or not. So we have completed the layer 2 from the top, application layer, introduction, and afterwards the application layer part we completed. Next we are moving towards the transport layer. Before going into the course, so do you have any comments about the quiz which you have written on the last week? Any comments about that?
Sir, since we typed, next time can you give a little bit more time, sir, like 8 minutes per question?
Kishore, please.
Sir, 5 minutes per a question was not enough, sir, since we had to type.
Actually, I need only that much time.
Okay,
because,
sir.
So the purpose of this quiz is not because in general, with the short duration of time, how much understanding you are having, you have to express. That's all. So I'm not expecting the detailed information. So it is a measure of how you understood. That's it. So it's supposed to be the quizzes should be very in a short duration only. So it is it's additional load for me also in the sense I have to do the individual evaluation that I will do a little bit later. So the way how you understood the content that has to be written in a very short form. So that's the objective. So even if you have gone through, if you have understood even if you have listened all the classes carefully, the questions given, it is very easy to answer it. Do all of you agree with this? Sneha, Adiselvi?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Kishore? Yes, that's all. So there must be a connectivity or continuity in your listening in class. So to encourage that only this type of quizzes is being conducted. Yeah, okay. And regarding the second point, the previous session, I didn't expect this type of response from the class. So around 10 to 15 students from the class, already I have communicated the same to the next higher officials. So I don't know whether the action should be taken, but the action from my side is that. So today they can attend the class. So they must give a justification why they didn't attend. So I must get the email or the apology letter or something through the email on or before today evening 5 o'clock. So those who have sent the proper justification, they will be permitted from the next class onwards. So
Sure.
yeah. Yes, Revant.
Sir.
Revant, yes, please.
Hello.
Revant, you are audible, please.
Yes.
Yeah, you want to tell something.
Still, I have not written several sense, sir.
No, I'm not getting the point. Revant,
Yes, sir.
please speak louder. Yeah.
Still, I have not written several sense, sir.
No. I gave a time until today evening.
Oh, yes. Okay, sir.
Okay. Before today evening, first you complete your. You should not get affected. Complete your regular academics before 5 p.m. You can send it. Not a problem. There must be a justification for that.
Okay,
So that
sir.
attitude has to be corrected. The people having a tendency that okay, I can simply join into the classroom, they will give all those things. No. So all these things will be reflected. Whenever, wherever required, you can feel that. So we are here not for simply giving a naam ke vasta for giving a sharing a content. No. So if you are having any attitude like that, so please correct it.
Sorry, sir.
Okay.
Will not repeat.
So all you people are not school kids. We know. All people are mature. That maturity has to be reflected on your action. That's it. That is a thing is expected. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Revant, correct yourself. Please hold on. Yes, I'm sorry, one official call. Yes. So I'm having a belief in that what we think is our life is depends on that. So if we are having that tendency of, okay, cheating and others. So after logging in, if you are not attending the class, it will be considered like that. So the same word I want to use it. That's why. It's a really, it may look like, okay, what is it in that? But the same culture, the behavior, it will be reflected in your life, your personal life, your professional life, wherever. The same behavior will come. It should not come there like that. So as a teacher, it's my responsibility to correct, not only simply teaching, and this is also another teaching. So it will be, the action will be given. So even for the people, those who have didn't attend, especially on that day, yesterday's session, the action will be taken. Don't worry. But the information to all of you, please be truthful. Whenever you are attempting to be truthful, sometimes it will be painful. If you feel the pain, then okay, you are in the right path. That's another measure. Okay. With that, we'll proceed for today's session. Okay. Just a minute. So today we are going to discuss about the new layer is a transport layer. The goals in the transport layer. Understand the principles behind the transport layer services. Multiplexing, demultiplexing, reliable data transfer, flow control, congestion control, and some of the learnings in UDP, connectionless transport, TCP, connection oriented transports, TCP, congestion control. These are all the overall point which we are going to discuss in the transport layer. Multiplexing, demultiplexing. So anyone can say what is the meaning of multiplexing? Multiplex. Mux.
Sir, it is used for selecting multiple lines.
Selecting
So
multiple lines.
multiple signal collector.
Multiple signal collector. So multiple signal collector means collecting multiple information.
And that it gives out as a single output, like it gets, it collects multiple signals and then gives a single output.
Yes, very good, Mr. Gokul. There is, it is a system. System means which will have some in and output. Already we had a discussion. Already you are aware of that. So how many number of inputs will be there? How many outputs are there? So we have to correlate. So n number of inputs, how many outputs will be there? Single output. So n out input, single output. Multiplex means the a system which will convert the multiple input into a single output. If this process is being performed through time scale, time division multiplexing. If it is represented or this operation is being performed through frequency domain, then it's called frequency division multiplexing. Like our AM radio, FM radio, which we are receiving, all are multiplexed signal only, it's available on the space. Simultaneously, FM radio 93.8 is also, we can receive it. 98.5 also we can receive it. Like n number of signals are there. Simultaneously our mobile phone signals also we can receive it. So in this space, assume the space is the one single channel. All radio signal, we can capture it through a single channel. So what operation is being performed? That is a multiplexing. But the multiplexing is performed in frequency domain. That's why it's called a frequency division multiplexing. All individual users, cellular phone users, each user will be allocated as per the 2G is concerned. Each user will be allocated with a separate carrier frequency. Hope you might have studied in communication engineering foundations. So that is called frequency division multiplexing. In OFDM, to increase the higher order data rate, orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, there are also multiplexings coming. So like that, multiplexing is a general phenomenon. It is utilized in a different locations, different way. Okay. And another example for the time division multiplexing. So time division multiplexing. If the simultaneously more number of informations are coming, so but the channel bandwidth is channel is a unique channel, single channel only. Assume in a multiplexer, output is only one. So 5 inputs are coming, assume. So all 5 inputs cannot be given as cannot be connected to the output simultaneously. But only one path, single pathway is available. Like in the in a tunnel, if you see inside a tunnel, if any car transport or something is going on, outside the tunnel, 4 lanes may be there. The vehicles may come through 4 lanes. But when we are entering into the tunnel, through a tunnel, only one vehicle can go. So then what they will do? There will be a speed brake. They will make sure that they are reducing the speed of the overall system. Then one by one they used to go. So that's called a time division multiplexing. So this is the, if we do a process of multiplexing, the reverse operations also can be done. The another important point is that reliable data transfer is very, very important. Reliable data transfer, flow control, how to control the data flow from one point to another point. So the flow control will talk about congestion. Flow control means we have to decide how the data has to move from one node to the another node. Intermediately, n number of nodes also will be there. Is it possible to move this pathway or that pathway, or compute the n number of pathways among the multiple pathway, which pathway is good? All these computations to be done. That is called a flow control. Congestion means when the data is moving, but unexpectedly the data is being collided, it's being lost. So because of the loss of data, sometimes we cannot recover it back. So what to do that? That's the idea for a congestion control. So this is the overall view. The outline the transport layer services, we'll see that 3.1 multiplexing, connectionless UDP, principles of reliable data transfer, like that we'll proceed. Okay. Transport services and protocol. Assume that which will provide a logical communication between app process running on a different host. One application which is running here, another application which is running here. So the role of transport layer, which is highlighted, you can see. So it's logical communication which is performed. One process means one application which is being initiated, that it start running, it want to connect to the nearest server which is already available, how it can connect or communicate with that. So how the transport layer works. So you can imagine that whenever we are booking a parcel in the in professional couriers, or we can send a packet. So, or the packet which we receive through the other courier services, e-cart, when we are ordering through online, they are having their own mechanism to transport. You can remember that. That's keeping that only in the title was given, transport. Okay. Transport protocols run in the end system. Sender side breaks app message into a segment. So I will tell you one small story here in the sense how the process is happening. If you go and book one bigger size of parcel, that parcel maybe in a lorry, to get a feel, that's why I'm saying this one. The half of the size in the container, the bulkier in size. That bulk here in size of that pack information which we want to book through a courier service, what our parcel service, what they will do, okay, if that packet is possible to send by dividing into small chunks. So if it is a motor or some bigger size of a generator or something, it may have a multiple spare parts. So they will do an analysis. Okay, it's a very bigger one. Okay, how to divide the total parcel into small. Then only they can accommodate that parcel into their transport vehicles. So they will do a lot of analysis. Or otherwise, if they cannot divide into a small part, what will happen? For that, they need to have a separate transport mechanism to ensure that, because it is not possible to divide the total content into small chunks, the transportation cost will be higher. So hope people, you might have seen some of the fan blades, especially in nearby the region of Coimbatore, towards to the Palani. If people are traveling, you can see the lot of windmills. One windmill which has 3 fans, 3 blade. The length of the blade will be more than 200 meters, I think approximately 100 to 200 meters the length. This cannot be divided into small chunks. So there will be a separate transport vehicle with a lot of precautions. The transportation will happen. You just will imagine that. The breakup of, but when it comes to the case of the data which we are handling here, in the application, from the application layer, what the data is coming from the application layer to the down layer. So there are possibilities. Yes, we can do a bigger data is being divided into small chunks. So that segments, that's called as segments. Converting into the total data into a small segments passes to a network layer. So application layer data, it's divided into small chunks, in the sense as a segments. Then it is passing through a network layer. Okay, this is happening in a sender side. What is happening in a receiver side? Assume that this is a receiver. From the receiver, all data will move from physical layer to the how the receiver will receive that information. It is sending the information from the application layer, crossing transport, network, data link, physical. It is traveling like this. Then when it is reaching here, it will end to the application layer, cross the network layer. So they reassembles the segments into messages, passes to the application layer. So how it is happening? The data is received from the network layer to the transport layer. We must be very clear. So do you have any doubts in this? Please let me know. More than one transport protocol available to apps. One is called a TCP and UDP. Already you have done something, but now our objective is that what is happening inside the TCP and UDP. Lot of research have done on this. So they have made a lot of analysis on that. The theory behind is very, very important. Otherwise, the things are there, and you may think that, okay, already we have written a code, we have done assignment, we have submitted. everything is over. But getting the result is not a big deal, because there are some already existing modules are available. But why it is done like that? What are the libraries were used? Inside a library, what all the algorithms have been written? Instead of that, if you want to make some change in that existing module, how to make a change in that? For that, if you want to make some contribution on that, new novel information, research, think on in another way. So then for that, we must be thorough in what is existing. Otherwise, we cannot think on a newly. The understanding is very important. So our curriculum has been designed for that purpose. Okay, internet, TCP and UDP. These are all major protocols we are going to discuss. Transport versus network layer. Network layer, logical communications between host. Logical communication between host. Transport layer, logical communication between process. Okay, process means one data have to be communicated this person to that person. From where? Source address, destination address, like total overall process. Booking one parcel from my side to the other end, that is one process. So to do this process intermediately, there are multiple mechanisms is being used. That's called a networking process. That is a subset of the process. Okay. So the transport layer relies on and it enhances the network layer services, which is enhancing the network layer services. Now, one analogy is given here. You please have a look on that. 12 kids in Anne's house sending a letters to 12 kids in Bill's house. Okay. Host is actually houses. Process is called kids. App messages is equal to letters in envelopes. Transport protocol, Anne and Bill who demux to in-house siblings. Anne and Bill, Anne's house and Bill's house. Who demux to the in-house siblings. Okay, when the kids are coming with the letters, then they will understand, okay, what letter to whom and all, to do the understanding, reading the letters given, then interpreting that. Network layer protocol, it's actually is nothing but a postal service. So this is the one small analysis given, you have a look on. Internet transport layer protocol. Reliable in order delivery. Whenever we talk about TCP, immediate information in our mind has to come. Yes, it is reliable data transfer. Congestion control is possible. Flow control is possible. Connection setup, we can control on that. So all these things are possible under TCP. Unreliable, unordered delivery. Immediately it has to come, okay, UDP. Writing a letter without an acknowledgement letter. People may be aware, may not be aware. Writing a postcard size of a letter. We used to have in our childhood days, communicating to our relatives and sending a greeting cards like that. For sending a greeting cards, normally we won't send with acknowledgement. But when we do some sort of important applications to the government agencies or something, some certificates and all, we used to send with the acknowledgement. For the acknowledgement, we have to pay additionally. So wherever we need a reliable communication, we have to pay something more. Pay in the sense, in any sense, either it may be in a cost in terms of money or the time or resource or anything. So UDP, so in terms of a data communication or a computer networks perspective, if you see, UDP is the protocol, user datagram protocol, without sending data, without acknowledgement, like audio streaming, video streaming, especially for the case of earlier, just 2 years before, even before coming to the online education like this, streaming was one of the toughest job only, because the streaming was not that much easy, because a lot of applications, and now the corona has broken everything. all over the world, anyone can have communication with anybody with easy way. It's another positive effects which, in my perspective, I see. Okay. So this is for UDP, and the services not available. Delay guarantees and bandwidth guarantees. So especially the delay, if there is a delay in that, we cannot give any guarantee for that. Bandwidth guarantee, how much amount of a bandwidth from the sender side, I cannot assure that. Yes, surely I can ensure to the destination the data can be communicated from source to the destination with 1 Mbps direct connectivity. I cannot ensure at any time. So that's the part. Okay, multiplexing, demultiplexing. You see here. So here, sender, assume that there is application layer. From there, one process is being initiated, coming to the transport layer, network layer, link, and physical layer. It is moving like this. Then intermediately, there are some servers. So the server is receiving the information, and it has to assume that this is a server. Inside a server, we are looking into this. So all information going towards to the server through the application layer only. Okay, through a physical layer, link layer, network layer, transport layer, then application layer. So this process 3, which is communicating to the application layer available in the server. That means the client wants to connect to the server. That's the meaning, but from the outside. But when it comes to the case of internal process, we can see like that. The socket which is given, no? Now you can recollect the socket programming what you have written there. That socket is actually corresponds to the transportation layer information. Now the theory behind is this. Okay. Now multiplexing at sender. Handle data from the multiple sockets. Add transport header. Later used for the demultiplexing. So from the, just a minute. You see here, the server is a person, a device, or a program, as per the PC is concerned or system is concerned, which can receive the information from the multiple clients. Okay, multiple data has to be. Like here, P4 is also want to communicate to the server. P3 also wants to communicate to the server. So there must be some proper connectivity or multiplexing or demultiplexing. Multiplexing means it's actually communication is going here to the server. Here also it's going in the other way. So how it's supposed to respond? The server has to respond simultaneously. The server has only one processor, then how it can do? Internally inside a computer, all our process is being performed majorly in time division scale, time division multiplexing. Like one socket information communicated will be responded for a particular time, then immediately it will go for here, then it will come here, then it will go here, like this. In this fashion only, the computer is actually running. For that, already I have shown some demo for this one. Just a minute, I will show the another control or del task. Now I am showing the task manager in my system. You can see here. So how many number of processes you are seeing here? Chrome. Inside a Chrome is one application. If I am opening that Chrome, how many internal process actually running? 11 process actually is running. Okay, Kaspersky, Microsoft Edge, because I have opened individual tabs. Each tabs is which will occupy this much amount of a memory space to do this. Now, what I want to say here, you just will see how much amount of a memory space actually is being utilized in a memory to run this program totally. 116.1 MB of a written code is available. It is running inside a computer. Just to imagine. Second program, Kaspersky, Then Microsoft Edge. Edge is 340 MB. PowerPoint, Teams, and like multiple applications. These are all the front-end apps which we see. In addition to that, background process you see here. These are all the background process is parallelly is running. How much amount of the memory space actually is being occupied by the system? You just will. These are all the user based services process. You come here. Windows process 93 backend processes are running. Just to imagine one single processor, Intel Core i5, which I am having in my system, which is running all these processes, but I am having only one processor. How it is possible? That's called time division multiplexing. All these processes is running in time division basis. It will run some amount of code here, some amount of code here, some amount of code here, like this, which will perform this operation in time division scale very faster. That fast is actually in terms of an gigahertz range. As a human being, sometimes we cannot sense that. So that's the point which I want to say here. So you imagine that to do this process, a device or a program which is named as operating system is helping. OS is a person who is interacting between the client and the computer, then which is doing the managing all these processes. So that operating system has a very important role here. So which already I gave explanations about this. How demultiplexing works. Demux. The host receives IP datagrams. So one datagram means how it will be, which will have a 32 bits width, which will has the first information will be a source port, destination port, port address. The other header informations here. Then application data is called a payload. This may be our actual data. It may be an image or audio or text or video, whatever it may be. It is our image. Whenever you see any segment, so it may be a the template for that, for any segment will look like this. Our data is this. This may be a complete data or small chunk of data. In addition to that, there will be an added header. In addition to that, source port and destination port, combining all those things, one segment. Who is doing this operation? The transport layer. Okay. The host receives the IP datagrams, and each datagram carries one transport segment. Each segment has the source and destination port address. The host uses IP addresses and port numbers. You may ask that the IP address is something related to the network layer. Yes, here everything is interconnected. So we need a destination IP address, source destination IP address, all those information. So the host uses IP address and port numbers to direct the segment to appropriate socket. Okay. Now connection list demux. Just a minute. A created socket has a host local port. So the code which is written, assume that this is written in some language. It may be normally, I think to my knowledge, when we use the keyword of new and all, no, even in a Java, the template will look like this. At present, for your understanding, please keep this in mind. Datagram socket is a one program, which is it's called a class. That's okay. With the new datagram socket, with the same name, whenever we create a datagram socket with the port number 123, this number is given. What is happening? This is nothing but with the same class name. If some function is being called, what is the name of that? Anybody? The class name and function name both are same. What does it?
Overloading. Constructor.
Constructors, yes, constructors. So here the datagram socket with that same name, class is also there, and with the same name I am passing some variable. Sorry, as a function also available. So there is a class test. So with the same name of a test, if I am having a function name is called test. The name of the function is called, this is called constructor. Okay. So that constructor has to be actually here the constructor is being called. Okay, please all these things are is going in depth on that. For our understanding we will discuss here. So new datagram socket has been created. Okay. When creating a datagram to send into UDP, user datagram protocol, the socket must specify the destination IP address and destination port. Okay, for a UDP itself. When host receives the UDP segment, checks the destination port in segment, directs the UDP segment to the socket with that port number. So with that port number which is given, no, which is already available, already we discussed, already you have done something also. Now we are doing in a reverse. Okay, you have done something. What is the meaning behind that? That's the part we are doing. So if IP datagrams with the same destination port but different IP addresses, numbers will be directed to the same socket. Depends on the availability of the ID which is given. It will do a proper routing. Yeah. Now the connection lex DMX example. A datagram socket, my socket 2. The new datagram socket with that port number 9157. The another datagram socket 1 with the port number 5775, which is from the one client. This is another client. Datagram socket, server socket, new datagram socket, which is running on this particular port. Now, which is sending a request, source port address, destination port address. Source is firmware 9157, destination 6428. That information will be given in the process. When in the transport layer, the transport layer will send the information source port and destination port. So then it is clear. Okay. Now you see from here when the communication happens 6428 to the destination port 9157. That's all. Like this. What is the port address? Now the server wants to communicate to this. What should be this port address can be used? Here, the same way, the 5775. Here, if already this process is running, if both clients they want to communicate to this system, but only one single process sometimes may not be sufficient. So we have to have a process, multiple process. That multiple process in general, we can visualize as that I have shown you the how many processes are running parallelly here. So it's called a multi-process, then multi-task, then multi-threading. So you must be aware of all these keywords and hope you might have studied about that, multi-threading. So multi-threads is a very foundation. Multiple multi-thread is actually called a one process. Multiple multi-process operation is called a one task. Whenever I open one Google Chrome, it's a one application, it's a one task. But when you open inside a operating system through the process window, the task manager, I can see that how many backend process also running. So that's the point. So connection oriented here, the connectionless DMAX. Connectionless. So before communicating, why it is named as a connectionless? Sender is directly sending the information to the port number 6428 from 9157. It doesn't. The sender doesn't check whether the receiver has provision to receive any request, whether it is switched on or not. That sender doesn't know. Okay, and based on the availability of the resource, server is there is no response also was received. That's called acknowledgement. So before start communicating any information, if we do the acknowledgement checking, then automatically it can be called a connection oriented. So it's called a connection less. So that's the point. The connection oriented will have the TCP socket identified by 4 tuples. That means it will have a 4 informations, the source IP address, source port number, destination IP address. So in a connection oriented, they used to connect with IP addresses. Okay, IP addresses means, so it can go beyond a certain level. It can go beyond, in the sense, inside a college campus. With that example, I will say I want to connect from the academic block to computer lab 1, but I want to connect to the outside the college campus. So how to do connectivity? So through the IP address only I can have a proper connection. So but the previous one which I have explained, inside a lab, one computer is with another computer, how it can connect, even though still we need it, but even though without having IP address information also we can do like that. In that perspective we can see. DMUX receiver uses all 4 values to direct the segment to appropriate socket. Okay. Each socket identified by a 4 one tuples. A web servers have a different sockets for each connection client. Web server. So currently we are here in the practical aspects. Web server. Each web server hereafter is nothing but as a simple program which is running in a remote location, which is running in an infinite loop. That's all. And server should have a bigger ear. That ear, through that multiple requests also has to be listened. So that means server should listen through multiple port. That's the meaning. So non-persistent HTTP will have a different socket for each request. Non-persistent. Persistent means once the connection is established, the connection will be there until the closure. Non-persistent means first time a client is connecting with the server, then it is responded, then connection will get disconnected. Second time the same client want to connect with the same server, it has to start from the scratch. If that is the case, that's called a non-persistent. We discussed already. So the connection oriented DMUX, what will happen? You see here. So as per the previous example, so P means process, P3, P4, P5, P6, P2, P3. Okay. So the host, this is a host IP address A. For host IP address is equal to C. For this one, this is for B. Okay. So how it is getting communicated? The source IP address for B is 80. This is called with the port number destination IP, comma, port number is 9157. From here to here, how it is communicated? From here to here, 9157 to port number 80. This is the part which already we discussed. Like this. So for that, a dedicated process is running now. Yes, some dedicated system is available to receive the request given by the client. And application is from the other client too. They are also want to communicate. The address is what? 5775. The destination port is equal to 80. So the separate process is actually running through this particular part. A separate process P6 is running to receive request from the P2. That's the meaning. There is another process is running to receive the information from the P3. So this is called a dedicated connection is being established through the port. So you may think that okay, all these are received through a port number 80. Yes. Inside a 80, through the particular port number 80, there will be a time division multiplexer. So everything is coming through the channel, but individual request comes from the different users will be received through that particular port. Yeah, so this is called connection oriented. So we can ensure the connection is being processed in the server dedicatedly. Yes. Connectionless transport. Then, okay, with this I will start for today's. Okay. So with this I will stop for today's session. The next session we will discuss about UDP, and please have a look. I hope I have shared the PDF file, the PPT file to all of you. Please have a look on that. With that interpretation, tomorrow's session, I will interact with all of you until the what is the meaning of principles of it's a homework to all. You please have a look on. You have to come with preparation. At least you have to have a visualization of the content. You must go through the content, then you come for a class. Don't come to the class simply coming and sitting, because I'm going to talk about some of the finite state machine information. So when I speak something about that, you may not be in a position to receive it, finite state machines. So once if you have gone through, after that when I give explanations about this, then you will be in a position to understand it very easily. So all these things are very important, especially for the case of reality of understanding. These many processes are happening there inside the transport layer. So why we are going for RDT1, RDT2, RDT3, what is the difference? Everything we are going to discuss. So without fail, all of you, please have a look on that. So I will interact with you. I will ask the students to give explanations. Based on that only tomorrow's class actually we are going to discuss. So until this RDT, there will be a portions for your mid-term exam. So if you are preparing now, that may be very helpful for your exams also. We'll see up to that. Even if possible, we'll move on to the pipeline protocol, or otherwise that pipelining part we'll discuss later. Yes. Okay. With that, I will stop for today's session. So please hold on. I will share the attendance. If you are having any doubts, meanwhile, please let me know. Yes, please.
Sir, I'm Surya of roll number 20, sir. Sir, yesterday
yes.
you called some, sir, you said to say yes or no, like you said about attendance, like who is not responding or responding in the class. Sir,
Yes,
I responded, sir, but unfortunately Divya has noted my name, sir. I said twice and thrice, it's raining here. You called me at roll number 20, sir.
Okay.
After that, after everyone said, I also said again, sir, it's raining here, so my internet is too low.
Yeah,
but,
not a problem. You give your justification through as an email. That's all.
No, sir. I said okay, sir. You said okay. Don't write it down. But Divya still she wrote, sir.
Okay. Maybe she may not be noticed that one, because everybody is currently in a remote location.